everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a little bit of a pep talk for you. If at any point you get on your horse feels a bit fresh and you're not really sure what to do, is basically what this video is today. So let's get started. Okay, so I've got about 9 tips that I just want to talk to you about, and it's not going to be too structured, but just if you get on your horse and your horse feels very fresh and you're a bit anxious because your horse seems a little too excited about life. So let's get into what you should be thinking about. When you get on a horse who you feel is not very calm, you need to stay calm. You need to not freak out. You need to keep a soft seat, soft hands. Stay relaxed, relax with your body position. You need to breathe in, you need to breathe out, you need to stay very, very calm. As soon as you become tense, your horse takes that as a sign of you being fresh too, and then together you're just this pair that is going to be a little bit out of control possibly. So make sure that if you feel at any point that your horse is too fresh, first thing you need to think is, I need to stay calm here. I need to not freak out, because as soon as I freak out, something may happen and it's going to trigger what you are afraid of happening. So that's the biggest thing, is stay calm, don't freak out, relax, make sure you're nice and fluid with your seat, don't tense your muscle. Physically, you need to consciously tell yourself, release the tension, just relax, it's fine. You don't need to get involved in what your horse is doing. Now, in some situations, you may feel that your horse is actually out of control. They may not be. They may just be, a little bit more forward than usual. But for example, if your horse is bucking because they're a bit fresh, or they're, taking little runoffs or things because they're fresh, you can't get involved in what your horse is doing. You can't think, okay, I'm going to freak out now. Just because you bucked, that means that I'm going to die. That means my horse wants me to get off. You can't get involved. You need to stay looking at the situation from an outside. You can't go in with the horse and be like, oh no, he bucked, he wants to get me off, oh, this means my whole ride's going to be bad. No, don't get involved with what your horse is doing. Just stay in tune with what you're doing. And if you become relaxed and you have a game plan, your horse is going to fall into that game plan and fall into that state of relaxation. You need to give your horse time to process what's around him. So if they're being fresh because they are in a new environment, if they're being fresh because they're going out to the park perhaps, this was like me the other day, I was riding Splash and I was going out to the park and there was a kite, there was a lot of people on bikes, it was on the weekend, and it was just very, very busy, and he got a little bit tense and he felt a little bit fresh, and the first thing I said was, he is okay. There are a number of environmental factors here that aren't normally here. So it's fine for him. If he wants to look around, that's okay. If he wants to prick his ears at something, that's okay. Just because my horse might feel tense about his new surroundings, me forcing him not to look at those surroundings makes it worse and makes them seem like a worse thing. So make sure that if your horse feels fresh because of a new environment, let them look around, give them a bit of a looser rein. Don't give them a chance to process what is in front of them, what's around them, what's going on. And usually, most of the time, a lot of the time it won't happen, but most of the time, your horse is going to think, wow. They're just going to take a sigh out, they're going to look around, they're going to sigh, they're going to say, okay, there is nothing actually wrong or anything that's going to scare me. So that's the next thing. Okay, just because your horse is a little bit fresh, don't take that as a sign that the horse doesn't like you. Don't take it personally. The horse is not trying to take a dig at you. Don't think that it's about you. Don't think that just because he's fresh, you're immediately going to fall off. Don't think that just because he's fresh, your whole ride is going to be bad. Don't make all these accusations and all these assumptions about what the rest of your ride's going to be like just because your horse is a bit fresh. There's some days when I wake up and I'm way more, enthusiastic about my day, and other days I want to sleep in until midday. So, it varies fast just as it varies for horses. So don't think just because you are fresh and excited that your horse is fresh and excited that it's a dig towards you, or that your horse is going to buck you up. It's purely just, I think most of the time a horse being fresh, they're just excited to get out. Especially if where I ride, they're stable horses. Often you will get horses who are a little bit fresh, but so what? You know, they've been stuck in a stable, they want to get out, they want to have some fresh air. So I don't blame them, honestly. So don't take that as a personal dig, because it's not. Horses aren't directly trying to hurt you or directly trying to make you scared. They're just doing what makes them feel happy. So there you go. If your horse is fresh, give him something to occupy him. So for example, let's say I have ridden out to the park, my horse has been really fresh, I go on the grass, I need my horse to focus on something. Biggest thing I do when I want my horse to focus on something is I do some sort of shoulder in, I'll do bending, I'll do flexion, I'll do lots of serpentines, figures of 8, lots of twisty things, and that keeps your horse thinking because they're waiting for the next turn, and that will keep them occupied and hopefully just chill them out of it and not be so concerned about what's around them, or it will just bring down their adrenaline a little bit and their excitement, and will make them kind of, you know, get a bit more in a tunnel vision and need to focus on what they're doing. So give them something to occupy them, whether that be jumping or whether that be something on the flat, it doesn't really matter. Just something interesting to keep them occupied will tend to calm them down a bit because they need to focus. If your horse is fresh and they're giving you forward energy, don't constantly try and shut that forward energy down. Especially if your horse is usually lazy and your horse comes out there and they're a bit fresh and they're a bit forward, channel that and put it into something. So for example, let's say I ride a really lazy horse who doesn't want to go forward ever, and he has been cooped up in his stable for 3 days and it's been raining, he hasn't gotten out very much, and we go out to the park and he feels fresh and forward and he feels excited about life. I'm going to channel that, I'm going to go do some jumping. That is just how I am. Obviously don't be reckless about it. If your horse is genuinely going to put you in a position of danger, then obviously don't do that. But if your horse is just going forward and really is just excited, then channel that energy, go do something with it. Make something of it. So go jump, go on the grass and let out a few laps of canter. Go on a track and do some galloping. Go do some cross country. Do something that is going to channel that forward energy. Obviously don't be reckless about it, but channel that forward energy into something. What's the point? Especially if you're on a lazy horse and it's very unlikely you usually get that forward energy, take advantage of it. Is when you're riding your horse, don't hold on to something that happened at the beginning of the ride. So let's say, like I said, I'm walking out to the park, because where I ride you need to walk out to the outdoor grounds, you need to do a 10-minute walk. So let's say you're walking out to the park, your horse throws a few bucks out on the way to the park, and you get into the arena and you freak out and you're like, oh my god, he's gonna buck again, oh no, 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 no. Don't be like that. What happened, happened. Now you need to ride with what you've got. If your horse is giving you really nice paces, he's working nicely, reward him and focus on that. You need to detach parts of your ride. So okay, he bucked, I dealt with that, forget about it, next thing. You need to split your ride up so that you're not looking at it as, oh no, he bucked at the beginning, but he jumped really well at the end, but he was still a bad horse because he bucked at the beginning. No, you need to detach the ride and really focus on what's in front of you and what you're working with in the present moment, and you'll just feel much more relaxed about your ride. It will split it up for you and you won't feel so tense. The next thing is, obviously, if your horse is fresh, the biggest thing is you want to get your horse listening to you. I think it varies for every horse how you get your horse's attention. I really just wanted to talk about the indicator. If your horse's ears are flicking, even if it's like they're forward and one's just going like this and flicking back at you when you make an aid or when you give them a command, then that is an indication that your horse is listening to you. If your horse's ears are fully pricked like this and are not for like a solid 10 minutes and don't flick back at you, he is completely zoning you out. So you need to try and get that attention so that at least one or even both ears are flicking back at you, because it means they're listening, they're waiting for your next command, they're waiting for what you're asking them to do, they're trying to respond with what you're asking them to do, and they're interpreting what you're asking them to do. So that flick of the ear is really, I look like I'm like dancing or something. That flick of the ear is like really important. So if you can get that, that is great, and you're already halfway there. And the last tip is reward. If your horse does something good, even if you are really annoyed with your horse for being fresh, you can't control that. If your horse does something good, reward them. Even if they give you a slight inch of what you're asking for, reward them for it. That's a step there, that's better than nothing. If you are asking for, let's say, you want your horse to come to a stop. If your horse is going forward and you pull the reins, they slightly inch back, reward them for it. Reward them for every little step that they do towards the big thing that you're asking for. And that's gonna make, I think, reward in a fresh, when your horse is fresh and you're in that kind of situation, reward can just bring it back and it makes you feel more calm. Me personally, when I reward my horse, even for me, it's a sigh of relief for me, not just for my horse. I don't know why, but that's how I am. But honestly, just from everything that your horse does, if your horse does something well, reward it. Even if it's only a small thing of what the big thing that you wanted, still reward it. And I think that's really important too, because when you ride a fresh horse, you can get very preoccupied with making sure you don't fall off, that you don't give your horse any reassurance about what they're doing. And you're the leader, you need to, it's like being a manager in an office, you need to tell your employees that, you know, they're doing the right thing, good job, keep it up. Same thing with the horse. So anyways, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave below some video ideas for me, please. I always love hearing your recommendations, and I will see you for next week's video. Goodbye!